Our association represents the interests of over 150 members throughout the nightlife establishment of New York. We also have with us today other restaurant industry leaders, chambers of commerce, elected officials, and some loyal customers. Just to give a snapshot of where we are at this moment in New York, over 6,000 businesses have closed since the beginning of the pandemic. The report from the New York State Restaurant Association, the New York City Hospitality Alliance shows that 2/3 of New York restaurants said they are likely to close by the end of the year. Without a comprehensive relief package by our government, a survey of New York City Hospitality Alliance also here today showed that 87% of businesses were unable to pay their full rent in August. And when conducted again just last month, 88% of business were not able to pay their full rent in October. Members of our association cite up to 80% of reduction in business compared to before the pandemic. 60 to 80% decrease in outdoor dining since the beginning of the fall. The situation continues to get more and more dire, and are shutting down our indoor dining during the holidays when New York City restaurants are providing the safety measure that working the straw that broke the camel's back. We need both action immediately. We are here today to demand the funding for the restaurant industry, specifically the Restaurant Revitalization Act. We ask Governor Cuomo to also open us back up. We're only the 1.4%. So we are probably number 4 in that percentage, but yet we were the first ones to be affected. Thank you. I will now call up Aurelia Tavares, our executive director, and I want to thank her personally because she really, really pushed the ticket on getting this together today. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. We wouldn't be here. There's a familiar English expression that says, if I've seen further, it is by standing on the shoulder of giants. We have some giants here today. Andrew Ridgie, our next speaker from the Hospitality Alliance, we want to thank him for letting us go on his shoulders because we were a baby organization. We didn't know what we were going to do, and they showed us the way. So the next speaker, let's welcome Andrew Ridgie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aurelia. Jeff, my name's Andrew Ridgie. I'm the executive director of the New York City Hospitality Alliance. And here we are in the crossroads of the world. When you look at the restaurant industry, we are a melting pot. We are the backbone of New York City. Pre-pandemic, there was more than 25,000 eating and drinking establishments throughout the 5 boroughs, employing more than 300,000 New Yorkers. Now, we don't know. Thousands of small businesses have shut. When we got shut down the first time, we plummeted from more than 300,000 jobs to about 90,000. Thankfully, due to indoor dining, limited indoor dining, outdoor dining, we've hired back about 100,000 people. But guess what? There's tons of people still out of work, and with our new shutdown, those 100,000 jobs could be back on the chopping block. Look at these people. They need support. We are not getting support. The federal government right now is debating what we can do to provide stimulus to millions of Americans. PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program, is insufficient. We need Senator McConnell, Rubio, and the federal government to enact the Restaurants Act. It is a revitalization fund to help pay for rent, payroll, vendors. Let's recognize this is not only just restaurants and restaurant workers. This is the upstate farmer, the florist, the sales rep that sells us beer, and so many others that are vital to the economic ecosystem. So without additional support from the federal government, the state government, Governor Cuomo, Mayor DeBlasio, all of the elected officials, many of whom are standing here in support of the industry, let's convert sales tax into grants to help pay for air filtration systems. Let's waive and forgive permitting and licensing fees.
Yes, yes.
Let's focus on education training, not fines and revoking permits. New York City will not recover unless our city's restaurant and our nightlife industry is at the core of the recovery. And these people have helped build New York City and make it what it is. So we will not recover unless our industry is at the core of the recovery. I want to thank you and thank all of you for what you do. Everyone, save our restaurants!
Save our restaurants! Save our restaurants! Save our restaurants! Save our restaurants! Save our restaurants!
Thank you, Andrew. We have Sandra Jaquez from Duckman, the famous Duckman Street that everybody just never leaves. It's amazing, but it's been under scrutiny. Sandra Jaquez from El Soleil restaurant. Sandra?
Hi.
Welcome, Sandra.
Hi, good morning, everyone. On a more personal note, my name is Sandra Jaquez, and I am the owner of El Soleil restaurant located on Duckman Street. Sorry. I'm a first-generation Dominican-American, daughter of immigrants who arrived here in the 70s, each with a little to nothing more than just a suitcase full of hopes and dreams for a better life. They met, they married, and they had me. For the better part of their lives, they held factory jobs and struggled to raise me, their baby girl, and to give her the chance to thrive. I was born, raised, and educated while living in Inwood, and I'm the first of my family to have a college degree. My dream was always to have my own business. I struggled with a corporate job for some time, saved my pennies, and finally was able to open up my own establishment. When I did, it was only 5 employees, including myself. Today, I employ 25 employees. But since COVID-19 hit, from 25, I'd had to reduce to only 4 employees. In May, I ventured out into a second establishment right next to El Soleil. Once COVID hit, as I said, it's been reduced to takeout and deliveries. My sales have dropped to 80%. I've been forced to release 22 of those employees. 22 families that are struggling right now, that can't pay their rent, that can't put food on their tables. We are so hopeful when indoor dining was allowed again to try to make it afloat. But now that we're unable to pay our rents due to the shutdown, I'm afraid that I'm going to lose everything altogether. This is a struggling industry. Right now, I'm not the only one. We're all struggling, and we all need your help. So please, Governor Cuomo, please help us get this restoration Revitalization Act. I'm sorry. We need government funding. We need grants. We need your help. We need to survive, and we need to stay open. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Sandra.
Thank you.
Thank you. Duckman, go Duckman Street. Okay, we have another industry giant that we are so privileged to have here. Tom Kalecki. Can we hear from you, please?
Sure. Thank you. So I'm Tom Kalecki. I'm a restaurant owner, and I also am a co-founder of the Independent Restaurant Coalition. Right now, there's hope because the vaccine is being distributed. So there's hope, except there's no hope for restaurants. There is a bill, the Restaurants Act, that has bipartisan support in Congress. We need to scream loud and clear that our federal government must pass the Restaurants Act. It provides $120 billion. It will save every single restaurant in this country. And yet Mitch McConnell is sitting on his hands and not supporting this bill. We need to pass the Restaurants Act now.
Pass the Restaurants Act now! Pass the Restaurants Act now!
In a few months' time, when the vaccine starts to take hold and when people start going out and restaurants start opening up, if there are no restaurants open, no one will have jobs. Independent restaurants employ 11 million people in this country. 11 million people. We are the biggest employer outside the federal government. We don't want a handout. We want a bridge to keep us open and to keep us viable so we can actually start employing people again when things open up. We need to pass the Restaurants Act, and we need to pass it now. If you are in the business, if you work in the business, get on the phone. Call your representatives. Call our governor. Call our mayor. But we need to call We need to call Senator Schumer and Senator Gillibrand and say, help pass this bill. They have been fighting for us, but they need to hear loud and clear that the Restaurants Act is the only bill that will keep restaurants open.
That's right.
That is it. That is our only hope. We have a bill. It has 51 co-sponsors in the Senate, 203 co-sponsors in the House. This has bipartisan support. We need to pass this. We need to pass it now. Thank you. Keep fighting, because our industry is worth saving. And they actually have provisions for airlines, provisions for museums, provisions for stages. And yes, they should be saved too, but we need to be saved as well. We employ more people than they all do combined. Pass the Restaurants Act. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Now we're going to hear from the mayor of Dyckman, Susana Osorio, Duckman Street.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I have a very strong accent. I came to this country when I was 15 years old with a dream that I made through, that it happened, but it was not only myself. It was we have 206 employees that I have today. I own 10 restaurants in total, the franchise of Mama Sushi Restaurant and Mama Juana Cafe. And I'm here with one message. I represent all these employees that I have, 206, that today they do not have a job 2 weeks before Christmas. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart that all this family is not going to have money, is not going to have fun to buy a Christmas gift for the kids. All the employees that I have, they have kids. All this. And the only thing that I'm asking Cuomo to please, if we're going to stay close, to provide some funding for us. How we going to have, how I'm going to handle all this pressure that I have. I have 11 restaurants. I have all these landlords calling me every single day, every single time, asking me when I'm going to pay my rent, what message that I have for them, what message do all my employees going to have for the landlords. Please, we need your support, everyone. We need to send the message to the right person. He needs to listen to us. He needs to listen to us. We want our restaurant to be open back again. We want to work. We don't want the money. We want to have our restaurant. What's going to happen to a lot of us that they're not going to be able to stay open? What's going to happen to all these restaurants that are going to close in a couple of weeks? He doesn't realize about that. Why he's doing this to us? We're not the problem. We've been following everything what they asked us to do. And I came here with a dream. I have a family. And what's going to happen to one of my places that I've been open for 16 years? I'm going to have to close down? No. We ask Cuomo to please to listen to us. That's all I can say. And thank you to everyone who's here, all the business owners. It's not only in my behalf, it's in behalf of all of us. Okay, señores, esto es una causa. Hoy mi corazón y el de muchos de todos mis compañeros y vecinos, colegas que tienen no solamente restaurantes, salón, tiendas, todos estamos como en el aire. ¿Qué va a pasar con nosotros? Esta no fue la mejor decisión que él tomó. Esta no fue la mejor decisión. Nosotros estamos siguiendo todos los requisitos que requiere la ley para nosotros mantener las precauciones. Y como quiera, miren cómo él nos está pagando a nosotros, cerrando, clausurándonos a todos nosotros. ¿Qué pasa con los pequeños negociantes? Nosotros somos los pequeños negociantes y somos los que estamos sufriendo todo lo que está pasando. Todo lo que está pasando lo estamos sufriendo nosotros, nuestros empleados que tienen su familia 2 semanas antes de la Navidad, cerrarnos a nosotros. Es que él no tiene corazón con lo que él está haciendo. ¿Qué es lo que está pasando con esta humanidad? Vamos a tener precaución, pero que nos devuelvan nuestros negocios, que nos permitan abrir con todas las reglas que requiere la ley. Y esperamos que este mensaje le llegue a Cuomo y le llegue a todos los oficiales electos. Gracias a ustedes.
Before we ask another industry giant, I have to thank a couple of people who made this happen. DeBlasio, our lobbyists. She's our city lobbyist. Catherine Pichardo, the Moran Group. Albert Rodriguez and Maya Mason from the Spanish Broadcasting Network. La Mega, Ejuqueo, Basilón, Bodega, mi restaurante de Jackson Heights, Mojito, Astoria, Northern Boulevard, my security guards, my 24/7, 5-point security, Manny, Boca, all those restaurants in the Bronx. William Padilla, Havana, Moana Cafe, the Westchester restaurants, Brooklyn! Where's Brooklyn? Everybody from Brooklyn's out here. And Salud, June, Pedro Goico, the NSA, most importantly, bartenders, no bar service, waitresses, waiters. The inside dining is gone. Governor Cuomo has to listen. Our next speaker is going to be Joseph Smith from Bobby Vans. He's another industry giant. Joseph. In the meantime, I have Marcos Munoz from my Queens restaurants. Mojitos. Spanish primero.
Cordial saludo para todos. Voy a empezar en español. Mi nombre es Marcos Muñoz. Hace 22 años llegué a este país lleno de sueños. A esta gran ciudad que nos ha dado a todos una gran oportunidad. He hecho un trabajo excelente gracias a las oportunidades que solo aquí, en Nueva York, se han encontrado. Tristemente, hoy, la misma ciudad que me dio las oportunidades es la misma ciudad que quiere quitar todos mis logros, pero esta vez no solo los míos, sino los de todos, que pertenecen y dependen de nuestra industria, de los restaurantes. No es justo. Nosotros no somos el problema. Nosotros somos la gran fuerza laboral de esta ciudad. Las reuniones en casa, las reuniones ilegales, son las que están causando este problema. Ahora que nos cierran a nosotros, se hará mucho peor. Now I'm going to say it in English, if I can. Let's see. All right. 22 years ago, I came to this country, I came to this city, looking for better opportunities, looking for a better future for myself, for my family. Thank God, thanks to this amazing city, I made amazing achievements in this city. Unfortunately, today, the same city is the city that wants to take my achievements away. This time, not only my achievements, but the hundreds of thousands of workers and families that depend on this restaurant industry. This is not fair. We are not the problem. We are not. We deserve to work. We deserve our indoor dining open. Yeah, that's right. That's right. We deserve it. Let us work. We've been following all the state guidelines, regulations. So we deserve to work. Please, let us work. Thank you.
We have Harlem in the house now. Lauren Lynch from Harlem Public. Lauren.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Lauren Bree Lynch. I'm a resident of Harlem. For the past 8 years, I've owned and operated 3-car restaurants in West Harlem, Harlem Public, at the Wallace, Honeywell. This year, our business directly employs between 35 and 55 local residents, depending on the season. As of yesterday, dining shut down, colder weather, lack of additional government relief, lack of rent relief, and reduced sales in a struggling economy, we were forced to temporarily close one of our locations. Since March, our team has been reduced by half. Layoffs are typically executed based upon factors such as need and job performance. But during these uncertain times, business owners are forced to consider other factors. Factors such as who has other options, who provides the sole income within a household, who is eligible for unemployment benefits, and who has access to a wider safety net. that is how fragile, how delicate, and how at risk the restaurant industry is right now. That a business owner is forced to determine who is and who isn't going to potentially fall through the cracks due to lack of government assistance. I have seen staff members give their job up so their colleague can continue to work. I've had past staff members come to us to ask for food. And other business owners reach out to me in hopes that we could hire their staff when they had to close their doors. No New York City restaurant owner would argue that this pandemic is real. We heard the endless sirens. We fed our first responders and our struggling community. We got sick ourselves, and we all know people who have died. But from the beginning, we've campaigned for one thing, which is options to operate. Restaurant, bars, bodegas, food trucks, and are all under the same umbrella, but have vastly different operations. This is not a one-size-fits-all situation that can be addressed by city mandates or government guidelines. Give us the facts, give us the CDC and NHI best practices so we can safely implement them within our operations. I cannot begin to imagine the amount of money this city has spent on endless guidelines, training, and creating new task forces to police the restaurant industry. We're visited daily by all these different departments. At what cost to the city? Where could that money have better been spent? And what if restaurant operators had played a larger role in drafting from the onset these guidelines? How much time and money could have been saved on enforcement? In order for what remains of this industry to survive, restaurant workers, and for restaurant workers to have jobs to return to avoid an economic collapse, we need help. We need a bipartisan effort, both by Senate and Congress, to pass the Restaurant Acts now. We need additional access to PPP funding that's not saddled with conditions. And we need the trust from our state and city government. Trust that we will act in the best interest of our communities. Thank you.
Thank you. That was Lauren in the House. We now have some of our elected officials. We have Borough President Eric Adams, Brooklyn in the house. Brooklyn!
I want to thank.
And you better rescind your decision and seek them to get this forced vaccination. The forced vaccination is fascism at its finest. I know. You better do something about it. You give Cuomo full power.
So listen, just want to be extremely fast. We have a lot of electors here that understand the power of the industry. And I really want to thank the New York City Hospitality Alliance for all of their recommendations. But I want to be clear. Before I was a police officer, before I was a police officer, before I was a state senator, before I was borough president, I was a dishwasher in a restaurant. And when you look at our restaurants, for those who believe that restaurants are for the rich, you need to go inside the kitchens. You need to go and look at the waiters. You need to go and look at the busboys and girls. You need to go look at the cooks. Restaurants are the economic engines of our entire city. And when you close and cut them off and not give them the support, you are stifling and choking the life out of everyday people in this city. So I'm here today and say we must ensure that our restaurants are thriving, growing, and prospering. That is the only way back to ensure that our city return back. I stand with my restaurant workers and owners. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric Adams. Amazing. The next speaker is Antonio Reynoso. We thank him for the outdoor dining initiative. Without Antonio, no outdoor dining.
Thank you to the restaurant industry for being here and everyone that's standing with them. The current regulations being imposed by Governor Cuomo and by Mayor DeBlasio don't make any sense. Just like schools, we know that restaurants are not the super spreaders. We need to be smart about how we're making policy based on fact, and that is not happening today. So we're standing here today making sure that we look out for the best interests of our restaurants. El tiempo de apoyar nuestro restaurante es ahora. Gracias. Gracias.
All right, everybody, and we are taking a quick 2-minute break right here for you on News Now from Fox.
We have Idanis Rodriguez from Duckman Street, uptown. Let's go, Idanis. Where's Idanis? I think Idanis is Idanis. All right. Next person is our senator from Queens, Jessica Ramos.
All right, well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jessica Ramos, and I'm from Jackson Heights, Queens. I'm sorry, no me voy a quitar la máscara. No me voy a quitar la máscara. Good afternoon. It's really good to be here with you today. I represent a district where so many of our restaurants have been hurting for a very long time. For months, we've been working with restaurants against harassment by SLA, restaurants that have been nickel and dimed, shaken down, and are now being held responsible for things that are not their fault. We know based on data that the vectors of infection are actually our homes, who we choose to bring into our homes. That's why we're here to advocate not only for federal dollars for our small businesses and our restaurants, but because we need actual state action. We need the governor and we need the state legislature to step up and figure out how we're going to get some economic relief for our restaurants, because so many of our undocumented New Yorkers depend on restaurants as their employer. We're going to continue to be fighting for those dollars. We're going to continue to fight to tax the rich so that we can put money in the pockets of New Yorkers when it counts the most. It's unconscionable to me that the PPP that so many restaurants receive is actually taxable, and these restaurants are being right, and these restaurants are being hurt left and right. This is fun. Brevemente. Well, now I gotta do it in Spanish. Brevemente en español, simplemente quiero compartir mi apoyo y mi compromiso para ayudarle a los pequeños negocios y a los restaurantes que han sido.
And we continue to take a listen right now. Restaurant owners in New York City urging the governor and the mayor to reopen their dine-in service. Also, because of the big storm that is coming to the northeast, they will be shutting down for this week and weekend outdoor dining service as well. So that's really hurting the restaurant owners right there. So here's what we got lined up here for you, everyone, on News Now from Fox. We'll continue to take a listen at this rally. We also have other events going on as well. Chicago update on COVID-19 and the vaccine rollout in that city. And then coming up in an hour, we will have a White House news briefing with Kayleigh McEnany. And then also the California governor, Gavin Newsom, will be giving a update as well. So we got a full list of events here for you today. Stay right here with us, everyone, on News Now from Fox Worldwide.
Keith Powers, sorry, everyone.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for. No, it's okay. I'm City Councilmember Keith Powers. We're in my district right now, but I'm also the son of a restaurant owner. I'm the son of a bar owner, and this is for my family. If we were going through this right now, if my dad was in the restaurant industry, owned a bar and restaurant for years, our family would not be able to pay the bills. We would not be able to pay the rent. We would be struggling just like all these restaurant and bar owners right here. And so when we talk about what is going on, we're not just talking about the restaurants that we love. We're talking about people's real life stories, their families, the ability to pay for their kids' education, to pay for their bills, their health care, and everything else. This has been a year like no other, and we know that. But for the people that are standing behind us right now, this is about their lives, this is about their future, this is about the investment they made in New York City, and now we have a responsibility to stand up for them. If we are going to tell them to close down, then we need to be asking for every single dollar we can get to these industries to help save the jobs, to help save the families here. So I want to say thank you to everybody for being out here, for standing up for families like mine, but standing up for families like all those that are here that depend on this industry, depend on their restaurants, their small businesses to make their living, and it's the American dream for so many of them.
We will not accept your vaccine that you are behind.
He won't be taking your vaccine, but I will be asking the federal government to give you guys some extra relief. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. We are now going to hear from Assembly Member Catalina Cruz from Queens.
Tell me to shut up. Shut everything up.
Buenas tardes. I have the honor of representing Jackson Heights, Corona, and Elmhurst, the epicenter of the pandemic. It is also a neighborhood full of amazing restaurants, of amazing people, of people that work in the food industry and depend on these restaurants remaining open. What I can't understand is if the so-called science pointed in one direction, why are we going in a completely opposite direction? What I can't understand is if the governor, the city, and the state, and even the federal government had the power to help them, had the power to make sure that restaurants, if they had to close, had the money to survive, why were they left behind? We told them, build outside. We told them, equip your inside to make sure that people can be socially distant. They went out and they spent thousands of dollars, took out loans, and now we're going to turn our backs on them? This isn't fair. This is not the kind of country that we fought for. These people, Marcos, ran a food pantry out of his office every Wednesday during the pandemic to make sure that my neighbors had something to eat. And now the federal government and the state and the city wants to turn its back on them. We're not going to let it. We're not going to let it. We're going to fight to make sure that every single one of you can survive because you helped us survive. Ya basta.
And welcome to all our new viewers from around the country and around the world here as we are taking a live look at New York City of passionate restaurant owners. They're having this rally trying to get their dine-in service reopened, and you're watching this live right here on NewsNOW from Fox. We'll take you out there in just a moment, but thank you everybody for joining us here today. I'm your host, Mike Page. Always great to be here with you. Here's what we also have coming up. Within the next hour, we do have a White House news briefing that was just added to the schedule. We'll play that for you in full when that does get going. Let's take it now back out to New York City. This rally continues.
Y no vamos a permitir que se les quite. Nuestro compromiso.
All right, so we might have to switch gears, though, now because we have gone into the Spanish portion of this news conference. So we'll keep an eye on that for you and let you know of any other major developments that come out of, well, let's see. Let's see if we have a new speaker really quickly.
From the Multicultural Nightlife Association, Tony. Tony.
I need this microphone. I need this microphone because I need the power.
My name is Community Advocate Tony Herbert. I stand here in solidarity representing Black, African, and Caribbean restaurants alongside our Latinx brothers and sisters to say at the same time, this city is killing us. And you're not only hurting the people that are standing around here, you're hurting a lot of New Yorkers. Everybody fought to put themselves in a position to open up their restaurants only to turn around to have leadership that has failed us time and time again. You open up schools, but you want to close restaurants. What kind of sense does that make? We've got to protect everybody, but we also have to understand that our restaurants are one of the most important avenues of small business in our city. So I say to the governor, I say to the mayor, get your act together now. We need our restaurants open now.
Yes, now, open us up.
Thank you. We have Katherine Garcia visiting us, please.
Thank you, everyone. I'm Katherine Garcia. I'm running for New York City mayor. When I was the food czar, what I realized it wasn't about the food, it was about the people. And I saw restaurants all across this city step up and feed their neighbors, not anticipating any thank you, not anticipating that they would make any money off it, but because people were hungry, they came and helped us. We need to help them now. We need the Restaurants Act to pass. We need to suspend the permanent licensing fees. We need to use the sales tax money for grants. But we know that New York City is a city of restaurants, and we don't come back strong without restaurants across this city who have been feeding us for our entire lives. We need to be taking care of them now. And I know from personal experience in my family, my sister had to lay off all of her restaurant staff last week because there was no ability to not have indoor dining for her going forward. So it's painful. So we will come together to support her, just like I'm here to support all the people who work in restaurants and all the small businesses in the city of New York. Thank you.
We have two more speakers, and then we're walking to the governor's office. We're marching that down 42nd Street. Frank Garcia from the National Chambers of Commerce.
Hi, Frank Garcia.
My name is Frank Garcia. I'm chairman of the National Association of Latino State Chambers, representing 3.5 million Hispanic businesses in the U.S. and Puerto Rico. This is a disgrace what's going on with our Latino businesses. Our members are dying. A lot of these restaurants have lost people. I don't hear the politicians talking about that. That's the issue here. We need government to have a plan. We're asking Congress to put help for us. This movement is going to go national. We're looking at our counterparts from Florida, Chicago, all around the United States to do the same thing. We need help. These businesses are dying, and we need your help. We also have a concern, as the national chairman, is on the vaccine. Why our members are not part of that vaccine? Why the governor and the mayor is not? You say we're necessary for feeding people, but we're not part of the vaccine. So we need to make sure there's a plan. Queremos un plan para poder darnos el medicamento a nuestros miembros que se están muriendo. Nuestra gente es bueno para servir la comida, pero debemos hacer bueno también para que nos den la vacuna. Tenemos que tener la vacuna. We're asking to help us. We're asking the new president to support us. Thank you.
We have Justin Brennan. Justin?
Thank you. I'm Councilman Justin Brennan from Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. I'm not here today as a politician. I'm here as the husband of a small business owner. I'm here as someone who grew up, people I went to school with as a kid who own restaurants in my district who are struggling. Restaurants are the first ones to step up when people fall down. Restaurants are the first ones to step up for charity, and we need to be here for them now. Politicians like to talk about how small businesses and restaurants are the backbone of our economy. Well, talk is cheap, and it's time to step up. As we wait for D.C. to get their act together, the state right now could turn these taxes that are due next week, they could turn those taxes into a grant. That is money that is sitting in the cash registers of restaurants right now that Governor Cuomo wants back for the state. Those taxes should be turned into a grant just to give a little bit of something to keep these small businesses afloat. I'm going to do everything I can on the city level to support our small businesses and our restaurants. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Zac Isco, Melba, and Fernando Cabrera.
Thank you all for coming out tonight. My name's Zac Isco. I'm running for mayor of New York City. I'm here because this industry has shown up for New Yorkers time and time again. When I was deployed in Iraq, this industry sent us care package overseas. When I came home and I had more of my friends dying by suicide, It was conversations in restaurants that led to them getting the help that they need. When I was helping run Javits Medical Center, this industry showed up time and time again for our frontline workers. And it is now time for this city to show up for this industry. What is happening is unconscionable, it's wrong, and the governor and the mayor and the federal government need to act. Thank you all for coming out today, and I'm so sorry that this is happening. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have Melba Wilson from Melba's in Harlem. Melba's restaurant? Yeah.
Hello, everybody. I am you, you are me. My name is Melba Wilson. I'm the president of the New York City Hospitality Alliance. I started out in this industry as a cashier. Where else can we start out? As a busboy, as a server, as a cashier, and grow in this industry. If they take our jobs away, where are we going? How do we feed our families? The restaurant industry has taken care of every other industry in this city. And now we demand that this city steps up.
Yeah.
And that they take care of us. Save our restaurants! 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 We are our brother's keepers. We're not going down without a fight. We are united. As we stand here today, we must stand united. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
We must stand united.
Thank you.